1960s were a defining decade for American cars, an era when design flair met engineering strength to create vehicles that outlasted expectations. While many models dazzled with performance and style, a select few stood apart for their toughness, reliability, and ability to keep running year after year. These cars became trusted family companions, fleet workhorses, and enduring icons of durability, proving that some machines were truly built to last forever. Number 15. 1969 Chevrolet Bel Air. The 1969 Chevrolet Bel Air represented the kind of quiet durability that families depended on for decades, and it proved that sometimes the most unassuming cars were the ones that stood the test of time. Unlike flashier models in Chevrolet's lineup, the Bel Air was a workhorse built on the bones of the full-size platform that had already been refined for nearly 2 decades. Its appeal lay not in luxury trim or high-performance engines, but in the assurance that it would start in the morning, carry a family across town, and return home without complaint. The engineering foundation of the 1969 Bel Air was straightforward but rugged. Its body-on-frame construction gave it the kind of toughness that resisted years of use on rough American roads. Chevrolet offered engines ranging from the thrifty inline-sixes to the tried-and-true small-block and big-block V8s, each designed for durability rather than fragility. The Turbo-Hydramatic automatic transmission and Powerglide units, widely shared across GM's lineup, became legendary for surviving abuse that would cripple more delicate designs. Mechanics appreciated the car's simplicity, as replacement parts were readily available, and the engines themselves could run hundreds of thousands of miles with basic oil changes and tune-ups. Owners often described the Bel Air as a car that aged with them, growing old but never truly wearing out. Families used them for cross-country road trips, police departments ran them as fleet cars, and they even served as taxis in smaller towns thanks to their dependable mechanicals and cavernous interiors. The car's steel-heavy bodywork resisted years of wear, and though rust was always a concern in northern climates, a well-maintained Bel Air in drier regions could last for decades without serious corrosion. The 1969 model year in particular marked the final years of the second-generation design, benefiting from Chevrolet's long experience in refining the platform. It had already matured past the teething issues of earlier designs, and by the late 60s, the formula was perfected into something incredibly reliable. While it lacked the glamour of the Impala or the sporty image of the Chevelle, the Bel Air was quietly performing its role as the backbone of American transportation. Today, enthusiasts and historians look back at the Bel Air as a perfect symbol of cars that were simply built to last. Survivors are still found in barns, garages, and even on the road, often running with their original drivetrains intact. That kind of longevity is a testament not only to Chevrolet's engineering, but also to the philosophy of building cars that could outlive their original owners. For many Americans, the 1969 Bel Air was not just a car of its time, it was a car for all time. Number 14. 1965 Mercury Cougar. When the 1965 Mercury Cougar was introduced, it marked a significant step for Ford's upscale division, carving out a niche between the practical Mustang and the more luxurious Thunderbird. While it shared much of its chassis engineering with the Mustang, the Cougar was deliberately given a longer wheelbase, more refined styling, and a higher level of standard equipment, which gave it both presence and endurance. Buyers found it appealing because it combined European-inspired elegance with the bulletproof dependability of Ford's proven V8 mechanicals. This balance between sophistication and reliability was one of the reasons the Cougar quickly gained a reputation as a car that would not just perform well in its youth, but would also age gracefully with time. The Cougar's durability was grounded in Ford's philosophy of using well-tested engines and components. Under the hood, buyers could choose from a lineup of small block and big block V8s that had already proven themselves in countless Ford vehicles across the decade. Engines like the 289 cubic inch and 390 cubic inch V8s were renowned for their long life when given routine maintenance, often running for hundreds of thousands of miles without major rebuilds. The Cougar's drivetrains were paired with transmissions such as the C4 and C6 automatics, both of which earned reputations as nearly indestructible when maintained with basic care. The strength of these components meant that owners could drive their Cougars daily, subjecting them to stop-and-go traffic, highway cruising, and even spirited performance use without fear of premature failure. Beyond the mechanicals, Mercury placed a clear emphasis on quality construction. The Cougar's body panels were solidly built, the interiors were assembled with tighter fit and finish compared to many contemporaries, and the car simply felt more substantial than other pony cars of its era. This impression of quality wasn't just cosmetic, it translated into fewer squeaks and rattles as the years passed, and a structure that resisted the fatigue and wear that often plagued less carefully built cars. Owners often remarked that even after years of use, a Cougar still had the feel of a car that was put together with care. Another reason the 1965 Mercury Cougar has endured is its ease of maintenance. Because it shared much of its engineering with Ford's mass-produced Mustang, replacement parts were plentiful, affordable, and easy to find across the country. This meant that keeping a Cougar on the road was far less of a challenge than maintaining an imported European luxury coupe, even though the Cougar projected a similar image of refinement. Combined with its durable V8 power plants, this part's availability made the Cougar one of the most sustainable classic cars to own long-term. Today, collectors and drivers alike still admire the Mercury Cougar, not just for its sleek styling and comfortable ride, but for its remarkable staying power. Survivors are plentiful, many still running their original engines and transmissions decades later, proving that Mercury's blend of elegance and durability paid off. The 1965 Cougar remains a shining example of how American automakers could build cars with both character and longevity, ensuring that they were not only desirable when new, but also capable of lasting forever in the hearts and garages of enthusiasts. Number 13. 1964 Pontiac GTO. The 1964 Pontiac GTO is often remembered as the spark that ignited the muscle car era. But beyond its performance credentials, it also stood out as a machine engineered to last. Built on the sturdy A-body platform derived from the Pontiac Tempest, the GTO combined everyday practicality with exhilarating speed, making it one of the rare performance cars of the decade that could serve as both a weekend warrior and a dependable daily driver. Owners quickly discovered that the car's durability wasn't sacrificed in pursuit of speed. It was, in fact, one of its strongest selling points. At the heart of the 1964 GTO was Pontiac's legendary 389 cubic inch V8 engine. Known for its robust block construction and ability to handle high levels of stress, this engine became a symbol of both power and reliability. With proper maintenance, these engines routinely surpassed 150,000 miles without requiring a major overhaul, which was impressive for a car marketed for high performance. 5. The simplicity of its carbureted design and accessible engine bay also meant mechanics found it easy to service, keeping repair costs reasonable and ensuring longevity even under heavy use. The drivetrain components supporting the big V8 were equally tough. Buyers could opt for the heavy-duty 3-speed manual, the 4-speed Muncie gearbox, or the automatic Hydramatic, all proven units that could handle the torque of the rocket-inspired V8 with ease. The suspension, though tuned for spirited driving, was solid and well-matched to the car's size, while the body-on-frame construction added a level of ruggedness that helped it endure years of road punishment. Pontiac's engineers didn't overcomplicate the formula. They relied on proven parts, which is one of the reasons many original GTOs are still on the road today. While the GTO made headlines for its quarter-mile times, its everyday usability cemented its reputation. Families could drive it to work or on long road trips without fear of mechanical breakdown, and its cabin, while not overly luxurious, was well constructed and able to withstand the rigors of constant use. The interior materials, though modest, held up well compared to other cars of its era, and the car's straightforward electrical and mechanical systems meant that long-term ownership was rarely plagued by hard-to-diagnose issues. The 1964 GTO also benefited from Pontiac's emphasis on quality control during the mid-60s. At a time when Detroit was still experimenting with new ideas, Pontiac relied on a balance of tried-and-true engineering and incremental innovation. The result was a car that not only defined a performance movement, but also gave buyers peace of mind that they were investing in a machine capable of lasting well beyond the showroom years. Today, the GTO's legacy is tied to both its cultural significance and its longevity. Many original examples remain in serviceable condition, with some still sporting their factory drivetrains after more than half a century. For enthusiasts, this blend of iconic performance and long-lasting durability makes the 1964 Pontiac GTO one of the finest examples of an American car that truly was built to last forever. Number 12. 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. The 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray was more than just a style icon of its time. It was also one of the most durable sports cars America had ever produced. Known for its radical split-window coupe design and bold engineering, this second-generation Corvette, often referred to as the C2, married cutting-edge looks with mechanical longevity that few high-performance cars could claim. Where many sports cars of the era were temperamental, requiring frequent adjustments and specialized service, the Corvette Stingray proved itself capable of lasting decades when maintained with care. One of the most significant reasons for its enduring reputation was Chevrolet's small-block V8. The base 327 cubic inch engine was a marvel of durability, offering both power and longevity. Its cast-iron block construction, straightforward carburation, and robust crankshaft design made it nearly indestructible in everyday use, even when owners regularly pushed it toward its performance limits. Mechanics admired it for being easy to rebuild, with many engines surpassing 200,000 miles when properly maintained. Even the higher-performance fuel-injected versions, while demanding more careful tuning, were fundamentally reliable and solidly engineered. Equally important was the Corvette's fiberglass body, which gave it a huge advantage in long-term preservation. Unlike steel-bodied rivals that fell victim to rust and corrosion, the Stingray's body panels resisted decay, allowing cars to survive in environments that would have destroyed others. This innovation ensured that many C2 Corvettes avoided the body rot that sent countless 60s cars to the scrapyard. As a result, survivors are still plentiful today, and even weathered examples can often be restored without needing extensive metalwork. The Stingray's chassis and suspension were also thoughtfully engineered for resilience. The car introduced an independent rear suspension, a first for the Corvette, which not only improved handling but was also robustly built to last through years of spirited driving. The ladder-type steel frame was reinforced and less prone to fatigue than earlier designs, giving the car structural integrity that endured beyond the 1960s. Owners could count on the Corvette to hold its composure even after years of hard use, which was rare among performance-oriented vehicles of its time. What set the 1963 Stingray apart was its ability to balance exotic performance with daily usability. Unlike many European sports cars, which often required constant tuning and expensive upkeep, the Corvette could be driven across town or across the country with confidence. Routine servicing was straightforward thanks to Chevrolet's widespread dealer network, and the abundance of shared parts meant that the Corvette was never as fragile as its international competitors. It was this combination of accessibility and toughness that cemented its reputation as a car built to last. Today, the split-window Stingray is not only a coveted collector's item for its beauty and historical importance, but also because so many examples remain roadworthy. Original engines continue to fire up with the same rumble they had over 60 years ago, and fiberglass panels still gleam after a polish. The 1963 Corvette Stingray proves that when style, innovation, and rugged engineering converge, a car can transcend its era and truly last forever. Number 11. 1962 Ford Thunderbird. The 1962 Ford Thunderbird stood at the crossroads of American style and mechanical dependability, offering a blend of innovation and longevity that helped cement its reputation as one of the most enduring personal luxury cars of the 60s. Known for its sleek design and advanced engineering, the Thunderbird did more than just look good. It was built with the kind of durability that kept it on the road far longer than many of its contemporaries. While some saw it as a luxury statement, those who owned one quickly realized it was also a remarkably reliable automobile. One of the Thunderbird's greatest strengths was its unitized construction. Ford engineers embraced this more modern structural approach, which not only reduced weight but also provided exceptional rigidity. Unlike traditional body-on-frame cars, the Thunderbird's unitized design resisted squeaks, rattles, and frame fatigue, giving it a solidity that owners felt even after years of use. This strong foundation also helped the car age gracefully, ensuring that its ride quality and handling characteristics remained stable long after the showroom shine had faded. Under the hood, the Thunderbird offered reliable V8 power plants, most commonly the 390 cubic inch FE series engine. This engine was already well proven in Ford's lineup, powering everything from family sedans to heavy-duty police cars. Built with a robust cast-iron block and sturdy internals, it could withstand extensive mileage without requiring more than routine maintenance. Paired with Ford's dependable Cruise-O-Matic transmission, the drivetrain became nearly bulletproof in daily service, handling both city commutes and long-distance touring with ease. Owners who kept up with oil changes and tune-ups often saw their Thunderbirds cross the 150,000-mile mark with surprising reliability for the era. Another factor in the Thunderbird's lasting reputation was its attention to build quality. Ford positioned it as a step above mainstream models, meaning tighter tolerances and better materials went into its assembly. Interiors were robustly trimmed, with durable upholstery and fittings that held up against years of use. Even complex features, such as power accessories and advanced electrical systems, were designed with an eye toward reliability, giving the Thunderbird a reputation for being more trustworthy than many luxury cars of the time. The 1962 Thunderbird also stood apart because it managed to combine luxury with low-cost serviceability. Since it shared many mechanical parts with other Ford models, replacement components were easy to source and relatively inexpensive. This gave owners confidence that their investment could be maintained without breaking the bank, ensuring the Thunderbird stayed on the road rather than being discarded when parts wore out. Today, the 1962 Ford Thunderbird remains a favorite among enthusiasts, not just for its iconic looks, but also for its longevity. Survivors are often found still running on original drivetrains, with structural integrity that belies their age. It was a car engineered to be more than a statement piece. It was built to endure. A personal luxury car that truly could last forever when given even modest care. Number 10. 1961 Checker Marathon. The 1961 Checker Marathon was not just a car, it was an institution. Built primarily for taxi fleets and professional service, the Marathon became one of the most iconic workhorses ever produced in the United States. Unlike the flashy models churned out by Detroit's Big Three, the Checker was designed with a singular purpose: to endure the harshest daily abuse imaginable and keep running for decades. This philosophy made the Marathon one of the most durable vehicles of the 1960s, a machine built to last forever in both spirit and function. Checker Motor Corporation engineered the Marathon with heavy-duty construction that bordered on overbuilt. Its chassis was made of thick steel, designed to withstand the constant punishment of stop-and-go taxi driving, pothole-ridden streets, and overloaded passenger cabins. The doors were oversized and solid, the suspension was beefy and utilitarian, and the car rode on components that could handle hundreds of thousands of miles. While the styling was boxy and plain, that very simplicity was part of its longevity. The design avoided unnecessary complexity that could compromise durability. Under the hood, the Checker Marathon relied on tried-and-true Chevrolet-sourced power plants. Inline-sixes and small-block V8s were the norm, and these engines were already well proven in millions of Chevrolets across America. Their dependability was legendary, with parts availability virtually guaranteed thanks to GM's massive production. This meant that a Checker could stay in service indefinitely, as mechanics could easily repair or replace worn-out components without the fear of obsolescence. Taxi companies valued this interchangeability, as it kept maintenance costs low and ensured maximum uptime. The interior of the Marathon was built with endurance in mind as well. Instead of focusing on plush luxury, Checker fitted the car with rugged upholstery, simple controls, and flat floors, designed for constant wear and easy cleaning. These cars could carry thousands of passengers every year without showing significant signs of deterioration. Fleet operators often recounted stories of marathons that ran for over 500,000 miles, a figure nearly unheard of for cars of the period. One of the most telling aspects of the Checker Marathon's longevity was how long it remained in production with minimal changes. From the early 1960s through the early 1980s, the car's fundamental design remained consistent, a testament to its engineering soundness. This continuity proved that the original blueprint was so robust it barely needed improvement. Today, the Checker Marathon stands as a symbol of functional durability. While most luxury and performance cars of the 1960s have long since vanished from daily service, many old Checkers are still roadworthy, often lovingly preserved by collectors or still spotted as novelty taxis in major cities. Its boxy silhouette may lack glamour, but the Checker Marathon exemplifies the idea of a car built for eternity, unyielding, reliable, and engineered to last forever. Number 9. 1960 Studebaker Lark. The 1960 Studebaker Lark was a car born out of necessity, but it turned into one of the most dependable compact cars of its era. At a time when Studebaker was struggling financially and facing stiff competition from Detroit's Big Three, the company needed a car that was simple, affordable, and durable. The result was the Lark, a compact car that quickly earned a reputation for being tough, practical, and surprisingly long-lasting. For many American families, the Lark became a faithful companion that often outlived expectations. Studebaker's approach to the Lark was pragmatic. Instead of designing an entirely new vehicle, they re-engineered existing full-size platforms, shortening wheelbases, and simplifying body lines. This not only saved money, but also ensured that the Lark was built on proven mechanical foundations. The result was a car that was lighter and more efficient than larger sedans, yet still retained the rugged construction that Studebaker was known for. Owners soon discovered that this little car was deceptively tough. Under the hood, the Lark offered reliable power plants that helped cement its reputation for durability. Inline-six engines were the most common, and their simplicity made them easy to maintain and repair. For buyers who wanted more power, Studebaker also offered V8 options, which shared the same overbuilt philosophy that gave them excellent longevity. Whether used for daily commuting or long road trips, these engines were capable of delivering hundreds of thousands of miles of dependable service when treated with basic care. One of the reasons the Lark lasted so long was its mechanical accessibility. Parts were easy to reach, and the car's straightforward engineering meant that even amateur mechanics could perform maintenance with little trouble. The rugged transmissions, whether manual or automatic, were similarly dependable, and the suspension, though basic, was designed to withstand rough roads and heavy use. For many owners, the Lark's ease of service made it a car that simply refused to quit. Despite Studebaker's financial woes, the Lark's build quality was admirable. Interiors were simple but sturdily constructed, and the body panels were thicker than many competing compacts of the era. While rust was always a threat in northern climates, well-maintained Larks in drier regions survived for decades, often with their original drivetrains intact. Taxi services and fleet operators even use Larks in some areas, a testament to their resilience under constant duty. Today, the 1960 Studebaker Lark holds a special place in history, not just as a car that helped keep Studebaker alive a little longer, but also as one of the most honest and durable compacts of the decade. Survivors remain on the road, often in running condition, proving that Studebaker's little gamble resulted in a car that was truly built to last forever. Number 8. 1967 Oldsmobile Cutlass. The 1967 Oldsmobile Cutlass was one of those rare cars that managed to combine style, comfort, and performance while still earning a reputation for exceptional durability. As part of General Motors' midsize A-body lineup, the Cutlass benefited from engineering practices that were already tried and tested, which gave it a rock-solid foundation for longevity. This was the kind of car that families bought with the expectation it would carry them through countless miles of daily commuting, long road trips, and everything in between. Decades later, the Cutlass has proven that reputation correct, as many examples continue to run reliably well into the modern era. At the heart of the Cutlass was the famous Oldsmobile Rocket V8 engine family. The most common options were the 330 and 400 cubic inch versions, both of which offered a blend of strong performance and impressive resilience. These engines were overbuilt with thick cast iron blocks, durable internals, and simple carbureted systems that made them easy to maintain. Known for their smooth power delivery and ability to withstand abuse, Rocket V8s often surpassed 200,000 miles without requiring more than routine servicing. Mechanics loved them because they were both dependable and straightforward to repair, which meant owners could keep them running for decades with relatively modest upkeep. The transmission choices were equally robust. Buyers could select from the reliable 3-speed Turbo-Hydramatic automatic or a 4-speed manual, both of which had already proven themselves across the GM family. These units were engineered to handle the torque of the rocket V8 engines without issue, making them ideal companions for long-term use. Combined with a strong rear differential and solid suspension setup, the Cutlass was built to take years of use and still deliver a comfortable and confident ride. Another key factor in the Cutlass's longevity was its overall build quality. While Oldsmobile positioned the Cutlass as more stylish and upscale than its Chevrolet Chevelle cousin, it still shared the same rugged bones. The body panels were solid, the interior fittings were sturdier than most competitors, and the overall feel of the car suggested careful attention to durability. Owners often remarked that even after years of use, the doors closed with the same reassuring thud, and the car retained its structural integrity. The 1967 model year in particular marked a sweet spot for the Cutlass. By this point, Oldsmobile had refined its design language and mechanical engineering, producing a car that felt thoroughly modern yet free of unnecessary complications. Safety upgrades such as dual-circuit brakes and optional front disc brakes added both confidence and reliability. The result was a car that was not only enjoyable when new, but also built to age gracefully. Today, the Cutlass is remembered as one of Oldsmobile's finest achievements, with many still found on the road in running condition. Collectors value it not just for its historical role in the muscle car era, but also because it remains one of the most dependable mid-size cars of its generation. The 1967 Oldsmobile Cutlass stands as proof that style and performance don't have to come at the cost of longevity. It was a car truly built to last forever. Number 7. 1966 Buick Special. The 1966 Buick Special represented Buick's vision of an affordable yet durable automobile that blended comfort, refinement, and reliability in a way that made it an enduring favorite. Positioned as an upscale compact in General Motors' mid-size lineup, the Special was not as flashy as the Riviera or as powerful as the Skylark Grand Sport, but it carried a reputation for being one of the most reliable and well-constructed cars of its era. Families across America discovered that the Special was more than just stylish transportation. It was a car built to last. One of the main reasons for the Special's longevity was its powertrain. Buick introduced its innovative V6 engine in the early 1960s, and by 1966, the Special could be equipped with this lightweight yet durable power plant. Known as the Fireball V6, this engine was simple in design, with fewer moving parts than its V8 counterparts, which made it less prone to mechanical failure. Owners often remarked that it provided just the right balance of efficiency and strength, and many examples easily surpassed 150,000 miles without requiring major engine work. For those who wanted more power, Buick also offered sturdy small block and big block V8s, all engineered with the kind of overbuilt durability that gave GM engines their legendary status. The Special's transmissions further added to its reputation. With options like the 2-speed super turbine automatic and available 3- or 4-speed manuals, Buick kept the drivetrain lineup simple and proven. These transmissions, paired with Buick's rugged rear differentials, were capable of handling years of demanding use, from stop-and-go city driving to long highway miles. Maintenance was straightforward, and mechanics found the Special easy to service thanks to its conventional layout and shared GM components. Another hallmark of the Buick Special was its build quality. Buick prided itself on producing cars with a step up in refinement compared to Chevrolet and Pontiac, and this was evident in the Special's materials and assembly. Interiors were well trimmed with durable fabrics, chrome accents, and controls that held up under repeated use. The doors closed with a reassuring solidity, and the body panels were thicker than many competing mid-size cars, which meant fewer rattles and better longevity. Owners frequently reported that their Specials retained structural integrity long after competitors developed squeaks, leaks, or body flex. The 1966 model year was particularly notable because it marked a moment when Buick's engineering refinements and GM's mid-size platform reached maturity. With its balance of size, power, and comfort, the Special was perfectly suited for the American lifestyle of the time. More importantly, it was a car that inspired confidence. the kind of car that families knew would get them to work, to school, and on summer road trips without fail. Today, the 1966 Buick Special is remembered fondly among enthusiasts, not just for its understated elegance, but also for its staying power. Surviving examples are still found running with their original drivetrains, proof of the careful engineering and overbuilt nature of Buick's approach in the 1960s. More than a stepping stone between economy cars and luxury cruisers, the Buick Special was a vehicle that embodied long-lasting dependability, proving that sometimes the most modest cars were the ones built to last forever. Number 6. 1965 AMC Rambler American. The 1965 AMC Rambler American stood as a symbol of no-nonsense engineering, built during an era when American Motors Corporation focused on practicality and long-term dependability rather than sheer flash. While the Big Three were battling for style dominance with larger and more powerful cars, AMC carved its niche by producing reliable, economical vehicles that ordinary families could count on for years. The Rambler American, particularly in 1965, embodied that philosophy perfectly. What made the Rambler American so durable was its mechanical simplicity. Unlike other cars that grew more complex and power-hungry, the Rambler stuck to straightforward engineering that valued function over fashion. The car's compact size kept it efficient, and its simple design made it inexpensive to build, maintain, and repair. Owners appreciated that everything about the Rambler was accessible, from the engine bay to the suspension, which made it one of the easiest cars to service at home or at a local shop. Under the hood, the Rambler American was most often powered by AMC's inline-six engines, which quickly earned a reputation for being nearly indestructible. These engines were designed with thick cast-iron blocks, low-stress internals, and conservative tuning, which allowed them to run reliably for hundreds of thousands of miles. Though not particularly powerful, the six-cylinder was smooth, efficient, and perfectly matched to the lightweight Rambler. Even in daily commuting or long-distance highway use, these engines simply refused to quit. For drivers who wanted more performance, AMC also offered V8 options, which provided stronger acceleration while maintaining the same overbuilt durability. The transmission choices also helped cement the Rambler's reputation. Buyers could choose from manual gearboxes or the Borg-Warner automatic, both of which were dependable and easy to maintain. Combined with a rugged rear axle and a suspension designed for real-world driving rather than racetrack performance, the Rambler American could handle rough roads, potholes, and heavy use without breaking down. It was, quite simply, a car built for longevity rather than glamour. The body and interior of the 1965 Rambler American followed the same philosophy of durability. The car's simple, boxy lines meant fewer decorative elements that could fail over time, while its steel construction was tough enough to withstand years of daily use. Interiors were no frills but functional, with hard-wearing fabrics and trim that often lasted decades without falling apart. This minimalist approach, while not luxurious, ensured that the Rambler aged better than many of its flashier competitors. Today, the Rambler American is remembered fondly as one of the most honest and enduring cars of its decade. Survivors can still be found running on original drivetrains, proving how much longevity was engineered into these vehicles. While it never claimed the spotlight like muscle cars or luxury cruisers, the 1965 AMC Rambler American delivered something far more valuable to its loyal owners: dependable service year after year, making it one of the true cars built to last forever. Number 5. 1964 Ford Fairlane. The 1964 Ford Fairlane occupied an important place in the American automotive landscape, bridging the gap between compact cars and full-size sedans. While it was marketed as a sensible family car, its combination of rugged construction, straightforward engineering, and reliable powertrains made it one of the most durable vehicles of its time. Many Fairlanes went on to serve their owners faithfully for decades, earning a reputation as a car that could be depended upon long after others were retired. One of the Fairlane's greatest strengths was its engine lineup. Buyers could choose from Ford's trustworthy inline-six engines or a variety of small-block V8s, including the now famous 289 cubic inch version. These engines were praised for their rugged cast-iron construction, simple carburation, and ability to withstand years of use with minimal issues. The 289 in particular became legendary, not just for its performance potential, but for its longevity, often running well beyond 150,000 miles without major repairs. Mechanics loved working on Fairlanes because the engines were accessible and replacement parts were cheap and widely available thanks to Ford's massive production network. The transmissions further added to the Fairlane's reliability. Options included robust manual gearboxes and Ford's Cruise-O-Matic automatic, both of which were designed to handle daily use with ease. These drivetrains proved exceptionally durable in real-world conditions, making the Fairlane a car that owners trusted for both short trips and long family vacations. The suspension, though basic, was engineered to be tough and forgiving, soaking up the punishment of rough American roads. With its simple yet strong underpinnings, the Fairlane could absorb years of use while maintaining ride comfort. In terms of construction, the Fairlane reflected Ford's commitment to building a car that was both affordable and long-lasting. Its body was sturdily built with thick steel panels that resisted fatigue and wear better than some competitors. Interiors were practical, with durable fabrics and straightforward layouts that proved resilient over time. Families found that their Fairlanes held up well to the constant cycle of commutes, errands, and road trips, rarely showing signs of premature aging. The 1964 Fairlane was also notable because it sat at a sweet spot in Ford's lineup. Larger than a compact, but smaller and more manageable than a full-size sedan, it delivered excellent value and reliability without unnecessary complexity. Its sensible size and proven mechanicals meant that it aged gracefully, with many examples remaining in service long after newer cars came and went. Today, enthusiasts and collectors still celebrate the Fairlane for its dependability and straightforward design. Survivors are relatively common, often still powered by their original 6-cylinder or V8 engines, proving just how well built these cars were. For many families, the 1964 Ford Fairlane wasn't just a car of the moment, it was a partner for the long haul, embodying the true meaning of a vehicle built to last forever. Number 4. 1963 Dodge Dart. The 1963 Dodge Dart was one of the most unpretentious yet enduring cars of its era, a machine that earned respect from both owners and mechanics for its remarkable reliability. At a time when Chrysler was working to solidify its compact and mid-size lineup, the Dart stood out as a practical, affordable, and above all, durable automobile. It may not have carried the glamour of muscle cars or the prestige of luxury sedans, but the Dart developed a reputation as a car that seemed to run forever. Much of this longevity can be credited to Chrysler's famous slant-six engine. Introduced in the early 1960s, this inline-six power plant was designed with a 30-degree tilt, which allowed for a lower hood line and better intake efficiency. Beyond its clever design, it quickly became one of the most durable engines ever built by an American manufacturer. With its cast-iron block and conservative engineering, the slant-six could endure immense mileage, often surpassing 200,000 miles without requiring a major overhaul. Taxi fleets, delivery companies, and countless private owners trusted this engine because it simply refused to quit when given even the most basic maintenance. The 1963 Dart paired this legendary engine with equally tough transmissions. Whether equipped with a manual gearbox or Chrysler's durable TorqueFlite automatic, the Dart's drivetrains were virtually bulletproof. The TorqueFlite in particular gained a reputation for being smooth, reliable, and nearly indestructible under everyday use. For many owners, this meant years of worry-free driving, with only routine servicing required to keep the Dart in peak running condition. The Dart's unibody construction also contributed to its durability. While some manufacturers struggled with unibody engineering, Chrysler executed it well in the Dart, creating a structure that resisted fatigue and held up under years of hard use. The suspension was simple but rugged, designed to absorb the punishment of daily driving on America's varied road conditions. Combined with its relatively compact size, this made the Dart easy to handle and long-lasting, with fewer structural issues compared to heavier, larger sedans. Inside, the Dart was straightforward but built to last. Materials were not extravagant, but they were durable enough to withstand years of family use. Controls were simple, intuitive, and rarely failed, reflecting Chrysler's focus on functionality over flash. Mini darts remained daily drivers for decades, a testament to the car's ability to age gracefully without becoming fragile. Today, the 1963 Dodge Dart is remembered not for performance or prestige, but for its reputation as a workhorse. Surviving examples can still be found running on their original slant-six engines, proving just how resilient this compact sedan truly was. In a decade filled with bold styling experiments and performance wars, the Dart quietly made its mark by being one of the most dependable cars ever produced, truly a car built to last forever. Number 3. 1962 Chevrolet Impala. The 1962 Chevrolet Impala was the quintessential full-size American sedan, designed with simplicity and strength that made it one of the most enduring cars of its time. While its sweeping body lines and distinctive jet-inspired styling made it popular in showrooms, its true legacy came from its ability to handle decades of daily service without complaint. Families, police departments, and even taxi companies embraced the Impala because it delivered not only comfort and style, but also longevity. One of the main reasons for the Impala's durability was Chevrolet's proven lineup of engines. Buyers could select from reliable inline-sixes, sturdy small-block V8s, or the more powerful big blocks for performance-minded drivers. Among the most popular was the 283 cubic inch small-block V8, renowned for its balance of smooth operation and rugged construction. These engines, with their cast-iron blocks and conservative tuning, were capable of running hundreds of thousands of miles with nothing more than regular oil changes and tune-ups. For those who wanted more power, the 327 and 383 cubic inch V8s offered muscle without sacrificing reliability, cementing the Impala's reputation as both practical and versatile. The transmissions paired with these engines were equally durable. Options included the Powerglide automatic, a 2-speed unit that gained a reputation for being nearly indestructible, and various 3- and 4-speed manuals that stood up to years of demanding use. The drivetrains in the Impala were designed to be forgiving, making the car remarkably user-friendly for both owners and mechanics. This accessibility meant the Impala was not only easy to repair, but also inexpensive to keep running, ensuring it remained in service long after many of its rivals had disappeared. The Impala's body and chassis also played a major role in its longevity. Built with a sturdy, full-frame design, the 1962 Impala resisted the flex and fatigue that often plagued lighter unibody cars of the era. The heavy steel construction gave the car a solid feel and an ability to withstand years of wear, whether from harsh roads or long family trips. Its suspension was tuned for comfort but engineered with durability in mind, making it resilient to the rough surfaces common in many parts of America during the 1960s. Inside, the Impala was designed to provide comfort without excess complication. Upholstery materials, while not extravagant, were hard-wearing and resisted the kind of rapid deterioration seen in many competitors. Controls and switches were simple and dependable, reflecting Chevrolet's focus on functionality over needless innovation. As a result, the Impala interiors often aged gracefully, allowing the cars to remain usable long after others had been consigned to the scrapyard. Today, the 1962 Chevrolet Impala is celebrated as one of the most enduring family cars of its generation. Many examples are still on the road, often running their original drivetrains, a testament to the car's rugged engineering. Beyond its beauty and popularity, the Impala's true greatness lay in its resilience, proving itself to be a car built not just for the moment, but for a lifetime. Number 2. 1961 Lincoln Continental. The 1961 Lincoln Continental marked a turning point not only for Lincoln, but for American automotive engineering as a whole. When it debuted, it stunned buyers with its elegant, restrained design, but beneath that exterior was an equally impressive commitment to durability and quality. At a time when competitors often cut corners, Lincoln raised the bar by offering a 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty, double what most automakers provided. This bold move reflected the company's confidence in its engineering and gave owners peace of mind that their car was built to last. One of the most defining aspects of the 1961 Continental was its rigorous quality control. Ford Motor Company, determined to restore Lincoln's reputation, subjected each Continental to some of the strictest inspection standards of the era. Panel gaps, paint finishes, and mechanical tolerances were carefully checked, ensuring each car left the factory with superior fit and finish. This attention to detail helped the Continental age gracefully, with many cars remaining solid and dependable long after newer models from other brands had begun to deteriorate. The engineering under the hood was equally robust. The standard power plant was a 430 cubic inch V8 engine designed with ample displacement and low-stress operation that contributed to its longevity. This engine was paired with a heavy-duty automatic transmission that was smooth, strong, and capable of withstanding years of demanding use. Together, the drivetrain provided not only effortless power, but also the kind of mechanical resilience that could carry these heavy luxury sedans through hundreds of thousands of miles. The Continental structure was also designed with longevity in mind. Its unibody construction gave it exceptional rigidity and minimized the squeaks and rattles that often plagued body-on-frame cars as they aged. Doors closed with a reassuring solidity, and the overall structural integrity meant these cars resisted fatigue over decades of use. Even the innovative rear-hinged suicide doors, often considered a stylistic flourish, were engineered with precision so they remained functional and solid well into old age. Inside, the Continental carried a cabin designed for both comfort and durability. Upholstery materials were of higher quality than most competitors, and switchgear was engineered to endure years of daily use without failure. The luxury was understated yet solid, creating an environment that held up remarkably well over time. Owners discovered that their cars not only drove well when new, but also remained reliable companions many years later, a rarity in the luxury segment of the 1960s. Today, the 1961 Lincoln Continental is remembered as one of the most iconic American cars of all time, not just for its beauty, but also for its staying power. Survivors often remain impressively intact, with original drivetrains and interiors still performing admirably more than 60 years later. It was a car that proved luxury and longevity could coexist, making the Continental one of the best examples of an American automobile truly built to last forever. Number 1. 1960 Plymouth Valiant. The 1960 Plymouth Valiant was the very first year of Plymouth's new compact car, and it immediately gained a reputation as one of the toughest and most dependable vehicles of its generation. At a time when Detroit's automakers were experimenting with smaller cars to compete with imports, Plymouth managed to create something remarkable, a compact that was not only practical and affordable, but also built with a level of durability that would keep it running for decades. The Valiant was more than just a new entry for Chrysler. It became a legend among mechanics and owners alike as the car that refused to quit. The foundation of the Valiant's reputation was the Chrysler Slant-6 engine. Introduced with the Valiant in 1960, this inline-six was tilted 30 degrees to the side, giving it a distinctive appearance and allowing for a lower hood line. But more importantly, the Slant-6 quickly became famous for its ability to endure incredible amounts of mileage with minimal trouble. With its heavy-duty cast-iron block, simple carburation, and robust internal components, this engine often ran well past 200,000 miles without requiring a rebuild. In fact, many stories circulated of Valiants still operating reliably after decades of daily use, making the Slant-6 one of the most iconic engines in American automotive history. The transmissions offered with the Valiant were equally dependable. Buyers could opt for a 3-speed manual or Chrysler's TorqueFlite automatic, both of which were engineered for longevity. The TorqueFlite, in particular, was celebrated for its smooth shifting and ruggedness, surviving hundreds of thousands of miles in both family cars and fleet vehicles. Together with the Slant-6, these transmissions gave the Valiant a nearly indestructible drivetrain. Another factor that made the Valiant so long-lasting was its sensible design and construction. Unlike some compacts of the era that sacrificed quality to cut costs, Plymouth engineered the Valiant with solid unibody construction and robust suspension components. This meant the car resisted structural fatigue and could handle rough roads and daily abuse without complaint. Its compact size made it easy to maneuver and park, but it was built with the kind of ruggedness normally associated with larger American sedans. The 1960 Valiant also earned praise for being easy to maintain. The straightforward engine layout and widely available parts meant owners could perform much of the servicing themselves, while mechanics appreciated its simplicity and durability. Unlike some imported compacts that were difficult to source parts for, the Valiant benefited from Chrysler's extensive dealer network, ensuring that it could be kept running for decades with relative ease. Today, the inaugural Valiant is celebrated not just as a milestone in Plymouth's history, but as one of the most dependable American cars ever built. Survivors are still running with their original slant-six engines, proving the strength of Chrysler's engineering. The 1960 Plymouth Valiant embodied the very essence of a car built to last forever, a compact sedan that outlived trends, outlasted competitors, and carved a permanent place in the story of American automotive durability.